Hi everyone, welcome to Belle's Books. I'm Carly and today let's have a catch up. So it's been a while since I filmed. My last video was a few months ago. I've had a lot going on, so I thought today I would sit down with you and film a live catch up and talk to you about my recent reads. So the reason that I haven't been filming is because I've had some heavy stuff going on. In the last video I was doing my Women's Prize for non-fiction try a chapter, and I did mention in that I had some family stuff going on. That family stuff was that I was a carer for my aunt, and I've been a carer for her for a good few years, and she was getting worse. Her health was declining, and so my caring responsibilities were ramped up, and she was having falls and I was having to go around and pick her up, and it was very stressful. That escalated and she went downhill, got taken into hospital. She was in hospital for a while and got worse, and then she got put on palliative care and she died in March, right at the beginning of March. So that's been very difficult and emotional, and it's the first time in my life that I've had to deal with someone dying who I've been solely responsible for. So I was the only person that was dealing with the death and the admin. Like there is so much admin involved in someone dying that I just didn't realise. So I've been very tied up dealing with all of that. Tied up with that has been some family trauma. There's a lot of bad stuff that's happened in my family, and that death then also kind of involved some family trauma coming out. So it's been a tough old time. And I was reading, but I kind of turned to books that would help me. So I was turning to books about grief. This one by Julia Samuel is great. It is kind of examples about different people dealing with death, like in different circumstances. So like a partner, a child, a parent, and she kind of gives you like case studies because she is a therapist and she talks about the way that these people dealt with that. So I found that, I mean, I haven't read much of it, but I found that kind of both comforting and helpful in terms of, you know, just thinking about grief generally and the way that people deal with it so differently. I have been very angry about some stuff that has come up with my aunt, like not with her, with like the other family members. So I've been working through some stuff. And as a result of that, I am now going to be working on a writing project about my aunt's life to represent her and the truth of what happened in her life. So that's kind of interesting for me because I'm been going through like all these things that I found in her house, and I'm trying to piece together a picture of her life. So that's going to be like an ongoing project for me. I think I'm going to do it like as non-fiction. I'm just going to write like a biography, but maybe not in a straightforward sense. So yeah, it's been an intense start to the year. I've also been really busy at work. My jobs are great. I love both of my jobs. So my main job that I do for most of the week is I work for an arts charity, and we put on like arts and cultural events in in 2 different locations. I am the creative producer for a specific region, and I look after the projects in that region. So we've had like a couple of big projects, so that's been taking up a lot of my time, and because of the nature of my work I often have to work weekends and do mad hours, so that's been happening a little bit. With the library as well, I've been running my book clubs as usual, and I've started to run a creative club for teenagers where I put out a bunch of materials, and it's not like a led workshop. They just come and do whatever they want. So I have like painting materials, drawing materials, writing prompts, they can do whatever they want. And the first session I ran, I had 19 kids turn up, and I was so pleased. So that was lovely. So both of my work, my different areas of work are going really well. And now the stuff with my aunt, like I've had to clear out her house and that's all done now, but I've got a lot of her stuff that I still need to go through. So yeah, there's kind of like not as much pressure as it was at the beginning of the year, because I had like a deadline I had to get out of the house by. So that was quite intense. So I feel a little bit more settled now. I had my birthday in March, so at the end of March it was my birthday. It was really difficult as well, because my partner's birthday is at the beginning of March and my birthday is at the end, and my aunt died like right in the middle of our birthdays, and it was like, you feel so sad, but also it's your birthday, so you kind of, and we've got things planned. So that was a weird time. And we had a couple of days away from my birthday. We went to Haworth, which is my favourite place. My family, a lot of my family is from that part of Yorkshire, so it always feels like I'm going home when I go to Haworth, because my nan was from a village right next to Haworth called Oxenhope, and I love being there, mostly because of the Bronte connection as well, but mostly and also because of my family connection. So I have a separate vlog that I filmed about our time in Haworth, and it's just taking me ages to edit that, so that's why that hasn't gone up yet. So there's the Haworth bit, and I got a few books in Haworth, so there's also a book haul. But that was lovely, and since being in Haworth, I am on a massive Bronte kick. I mean, I've always loved the Brontes. Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights have always been two of my favourite novels of all time, since I read them when I was a teenager, and I've just always loved them. And so now I'm rereading Jane Eyre, because Dan got me this lovely copy of Jane Eyre for my birthday. It's a second-hand, what are they called, these versions? The Great Writers. He got this from a charity shop, and it's lovely. So I have just started to reread Jane Eyre, which I am just, I'm loving, because like I say, it's one of my favourite books of all time. So yes, and I'm really enjoying like being absorbed into Bronte non-fiction as well. So I'm also reading The Bronte Myth by Lucasta Miller. Very much enjoying that at the moment. So that the kind of the Bronte side of things has been such a lovely respite from all the stress and intensity of my life. So that was very cool. Also recently I volunteered at the Cambridge Lit Fest. So the Cambridge Literary Festival, they have two a year. They have the spring and a winter one. And the spring one was 23rd to the 27th of April. I volunteered for a shift, and it was like two events that I was working, and I was the microphone bearer, so I got to run around and at the Q&A give people the microphone, which is always fun. And the event that I was in was Ash Sarkar was promoting her new book, so I got a copy. I've never come across her before. That's the good thing about these festivals. Like, so I will volunteer, not know what, who the people are or what their books are. This woman, oh my God, she's an absolute goddess. I love her so much. She's so articulate and intelligent and knowledgeable, and also really badass. Like, she swore like a trooper, and I loved it. I just loved it. So this is her book, Minority Rule: Adventures in the Culture War. And what have I got in here? Oh, that's separate. So yeah, it's basically what it is says on the tin. Let me just read you the blurb, because I have no capacity at the moment for a rephrasing. So it says, most of us are getting screwed over. Our world is defined by inequality, insecurity, lack of community and information overload. As the world burns, mega corporations are reporting record profits. How are they getting away with it? Minority rule is the term Ash Sarkar uses to describe the irrational fear that minorities are trying to overturn and oppress majority populations. In this eye-opening debut, she reveals instead how minority elites rule the majority of us by creating the culture wars that have taken over our politics, stoking fear and panic in our media landscape. So I'm very much looking forward to reading this. I feel this like very heavily at the moment. after the elections there was a lot of reform wins, and that scares the hell out of me. So and particularly in the town that I live in, there's a lot of kind of anti-immigration, anti-migrant sentiment, which makes no sense because it's predominantly a white town, and there's no migrants here. But yeah, so this I think is very necessary. Apparently she has a podcast, or she's a political commentator and a journalist, so I'm very much looking forward to delving into her work. The other event I went to I went as a audience member in this. I went to see David Larbi speak about his book Frequently Happy, 52 Mindful Moments to Bring Hope and Joy. Absolute contrast with these two books. Again, I've never come across David Larbi. Apparently he's a big personality. Didn't know that, but I really like the idea of this book. So it is in format. You have like a poem on one side, and then he writes a little bit about it, about the concept of that poem, and then there's like a journaling prompt. I bloody love a journaling prompt. And it's written seasonally, so you can read it by season, like a piece each day. I'm just kind of starting at the beginning, working my way through. But this is a very nice, gentle, mindful read, and I again am very much appreciative of that at the moment. The other book I got from the Lit Fest was I didn't see this author because it was a day that I was working at my other job. I need to take these stickers off. Natural Connection: What Indigenous Wisdom and Marginalised People Teach Us About Environmental Action, by Jocelyn Longdon. I didn't hear her speak, but I really wanted to, so I'm sad I missed out on that event. I really wanted this book. This sounds amazing. I think probably if you've read and enjoyed Braiding Sweetgrass, this might be a good one to pick up. I will read it and report back. So those are the books that I picked up from the Cambridge Lit Fest. I had a very nice time volunteering. I always, like, if I'm buying the book of someone, I will try and get it signed. So I got my book signed by David Larbi. He was interviewed by the lovely Ruby Granger, so I hung about afterwards and had a little chat with her, which was delightful. She is, of course, lovely and sweet, as you would imagine she is. So that was really nice. And yeah, just had a very good time. I got to, I will insert a picture here, I got to have a go on Bessie the book bike, which is a book bike that is owned by Cambridgeshire Libraries. I work for Cambridgeshire Libraries, and I was speaking to the librarian that kind of looks after Bessie, and I was like, this is like one of my peak work goals. I would like to ride Bessie the book bike around. And she was like, well, we're always looking for people to do that. So I'm adding that to my next appraisal document. Please, can I ride Bessie the book bike? So that was fun, getting to go on her. I didn't get to drive her, but I got to sit on her and have my picture taken. So all good. So that was a nice time at the Lit Fest. And what else is happening? Oh, I'm going through a big journaling phase at the moment. So I'm preparing to make some journaling content as well. I've always been a big journaler. When I went to Haworth, I had bought this new... I do long form journaling in these beautiful paper blanks books. And I'd got a specific Charlotte Bronte paper blanks book, which I love. So I started this new journal while I was in Haworth. And let me just show you, because I have got some ephemera. I got some postcards while I was there that I have stuck in, and I mostly do, or I previously have just done like long form journaling, but now I've kind of got into creative journaling. So I've been sticking things into my book as I'm writing, which is very nice to kind of look back on and have those keepsakes. And they've just fallen out. So yeah, I've been going through a journaling phase and doing lots of different kinds of journaling. So I'm going to be making some videos about that coming up soon, hopefully. Let's get on to the books, because it's 15 minutes in now. So recent reads. When I spoke to you last, I was doing the Women's Prize long list for non-fiction, and the books that I have read of that so far are The Peepshow, The Murders at 10 Rillington Place by Kate Summerscale. I have a lot of thoughts on this, so I will do a separate video review of that, because I would like to speak about that at length. I also read Why Fish Don't Exist, A Story of Lost Love and the Hidden Order of Life by Lulu Miller. I loved that book. Oh, it was so good. I knew I would like it because it was a bit of a mixture of biography, memoir, philosophy. Yeah, and it was what I thought it was going to be, and I loved it. I really enjoyed that so much. So I'm really pleased that I got around to that. We'll also do a separate review of that. So those are the only two that I've read so far from the Women's Prize for Non-Fiction. From the Women's Prize for Fiction, I have read Crooked Seeds by Karen Jennings, which I haven't really seen many reviews of this, but I adored that book. I loved it so much. And again, this is one of the ones that I want to do a separate review on. I think the reason I loved it so much was because I was reading it at the time when my aunt was still alive and I was visiting her. The book is set in South Africa. My aunt lived in South Africa. She had a South African accent. I was listening to the audiobook. The audiobook had a very strong South African accent. The book is about a difficult woman. My aunt was a difficult woman in some respects. So I just it really resonated with me and I just adored it. I thought it was fantastic. So those are the only two of the Women's Prize that I've read for fiction that I've read so far. I'm just going to whiz through all the other books I've read this year, because why not? Let's tell you about... Oh, I'm sorry, I just moved you. Stay there. About the other books. I had to write them down. That I've read so far this year. Because, let's have an update about what I've been actually reading. So I started off the year with Ghost Wall by Sarah Moss. I haven't got any of these out. I've put them away, but I will insert pictures here. Ghost Wall by Sarah Moss that I read for a writing class. So I occasionally go to an online writing class where it's like part book club, part writing class, and I love that. So we read the book, we talk about the book, we talk about the techniques and the things we loved about the book, and then the second half of the class we do the writing exercises based on what that author did, which is just, I love it so much. So we read Ghost Wall by Sarah Moss. I loved it. I then read Days at the Morisaki Bookshop by Satoshi Yagisawa, translated by Eric Ozawa. I listened to this on audio. I've kind of forgotten a little bit about it. It was a nice, easy, gentle, cozy read. I listened to it when I'm driving about for work. I enjoyed it. It was very good on how it feels when you're going through a breakup. And yeah, it's kind of not groundbreaking. It was just nice and easy and gentle. Would recommend. Then I read The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. My copy is at work in my locker. I love that book. I read that for my Cambridge book club and adored it. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. It's like a mystery book. A child goes missing from a summer camp in America and you're trying to work out what's happened and who's done it, and it's told from so many different perspectives, and I thought it might get confusing, but it didn't. It was so well done. The voices in each different perspective is so well handled and so well rendered. It was fantastic. Yeah, it was brilliant. I loved it, and I didn't see there was a lot of kind of not red herrings but twists, and I was at the end I just didn't see the ending coming. I was like, what? It was amazing. Loved it so much. And the writing was just great as well. It was really good, evocative, atmospheric writing. Yeah, just perfect. Then I listened to Starling House by Alix E. Harrow. This was a fun kind of fantasy, little bit gothic horror, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, the writing was a bit cheesy. It was a bit kind of YA, but I don't mind that when I'm listening to audiobooks. In audiobooks, I just want the plot, and it was a fun romp. There was monsters, there was a gothic house, there was a mystery, there was kind of found family. It was very fun. I just loved it. Very good. Then I read In Memoriam by Alice Winn for my book club at the library. We read that I always try and pick books for my library book club for a particular theme. was it for LGBT History Month? Probably. I know that's had loads of hype, and that was kind of like looming large in my mind, thinking, is this gonna meet my expectations? But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Very intense on the war stuff. Lots of description of bodies blown apart by bombs and war, which, you know, was quite difficult to read. I'm very squeamish. I don't enjoy that kind of stuff, and also particularly because of the images that are coming out of Gaza, it felt very real, like the way that she was describing people torn apart, as is happening now in Palestine. So that was really hard to read, but I thought the book was great. I loved the love story between the two main characters. I really enjoyed the formatting where she had like editions of the school paper that would list all the men or the boys that died, because they were all quite young. And yeah, I just thought it was great. Really good writing. Really enjoyed it, and it made for a good discussion at book club as well. Then another, I call my trashy audiobooks, I listened to The Curfew by T.M. Logan, again just for the plot. The writing really annoyed me, but I could let it go because I was just driving about. The plot was fun. It was a teenage boy was missing from his bed, and there's like a night where something happened and a girl went missing, and you don't know whether it's the teenage boy that has caused her to disappear or one of his friends, and the dad is like investigating. It was totally improbable. There were things that happened that were just like would not have happened. So ridiculous, so far-fetched, but I really enjoyed the kind of the mystery of it. So yeah, that was good. Then I read I Died at Fallow Hall by Bonnie Burke Patel. This book was amazing. I really enjoyed this. It was a murder mystery. You've got two timelines. So there's a gardener working at this manor house, and she uncovers the skeleton of a woman. So it's a who has done this? And then you get a different timeline from who you assume is the murdered girl writing diary entries back in the 60s, I think it is. And I just really enjoyed that book. I thought it was fantastic. It had some really interesting things to say about like manor houses, ownership, wealth distribution, race, class. Really clever, really intelligent, thought-provoking themes, but all bound up in this very intriguing and interesting who has done this. Who has done this? I loved it. I thought it was great. Really good. Again, did not see the ending coming, but I'm rubbish at guessing endings like that, so yeah. Then I read Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte, the absolute babe that is Anne Bronte. I read Agnes Grey. I started it when I was in Haworth on my trip away for my birthday, and just thoroughly enjoyed it. I'd never read it before. I've read The Tenant of Wildfell Hall before and loved that, but I'd not read Agnes Grey, and it was so lovely to be in Haworth and to read Anne Bronte's work, and yeah, loved it. That's why I'm now still on my Bronte kick and just want to read all the Brontes. And I think that's it, because I've already talked about those books. Oh, the other book I read, I didn't finish. It was a self-published book. I read this for my book club, right? The premise of my Cambridge book club is the books we read have to have won a prize. It can be any prize. It can be a very low-key Goodreads award. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be like Booker or, you know, Pulitzer or whatever. So this book was picked because it had apparently won the Discovered Novel Award. Never heard of it. And I started reading it, and I was like, first of all, I couldn't get a copy of the book anywhere. I had to buy a copy off eBay, and then I got it and I realised it was self-published, and I was like, okay. Started reading it. It was bad. It was so bad. Like, the writing was so bad. And it just felt like this guy has got an idea for a book, thought that's a really great idea, has not done any work on his craft, has not done any writing before, written this book, not spell checked it, not done any checks on grammar, no editing, sent it off to Amazon, self-published. And I was just like, I can't even do this. I don't even know how far I got through, because it didn't even have page numbers. It was that bad. and it was like a sci-fi, the premise was interesting. It was like a sci-fi kind of book about parallel universes, which sounded really cool, but the delivery was just not there at all. Terrible. So I couldn't. This is probably the first or one of the only times that I've not finished a book for book club. I was like, sorry guys, just couldn't do it. So after that terrible book, I needed to read a load of good things. And I have just finished Fundamentally by Nusaiba Eunice. I love this very much. This is on the Women's Prize for Fiction. Is it? I think it's been shortlisted. I adored this book. I finished it yesterday, so there's some recency bias there, but I loved it so much. It is such a page turner. Again, really intelligent, timely themes. It is about a woman who goes to Baghdad to run a de-radicalization program for ISIS brides. There's a lot in here about belief and different cultures, and where you draw the line with belief, and I find that a really interesting concept, particularly if those beliefs mean others are going to get harmed. But yeah, I really love this book. It was so good. And the book I'm currently reading that I have to finish today because I'm reading it for a writing class that is happening tomorrow is The Stubborn Archivist by Yara Rodriguez Fowler. I've got 100 or so pages left, but the format of this is quite experimental. So there's a lot of white space. There's a lot of white space on the page sometimes. So right at the beginning, it was like poetry. So you've got like this, like poetry, and then in some parts she's just got text right at the top of the page, text falling down the page. It's really interesting. I love experimenting with form, so this is really interesting to me. And this is about a young woman who is thinking about her dual identity of being British and Brazilian, and what that means. Again, it's themes of belonging and cultural difference, and she's telling her story through her own life and that of her family members, so her mother and her grandmother, which I'm really enjoying. So I'm looking forward to the discussion about this tomorrow in our writing club. That would be fun. I think those are all the books that I've read so far this year. Yeah, like I say, it's been a bit of a mixed bag start to the year, but I'm powering ahead now with the rest of my reading. Like I say, I'm very much in a Bronte phase. Once I've read things for events that I'm doing, so book clubs and stuff, otherwise I just want to read Brontes. So Jane Eyre next, and the big biography I really want to read next, that's by Juliet Barker, of all of the Brontes. I will do another video about my trip to Haworth and all the books that I bought there, because there was a lot. Other than that, I hope you're all doing okay, and I'm sending you lots of love. Speak to me in the comments below. Tell me if you've read any of these books that I've mentioned, or if you want to. Ask me any questions down below, and hopefully I will be back very soon and not in, another few months. But take care, everybody. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.